The other thing that that I was naive to and really totally ignorant to, first of all, was that there was so much anti-Semitism still in this world and
Yeah.
in the West. I had no idea until October 7th how bad this was. I really didn't think this, I didn't think anti-Semitism was still so vibrant in Canada and America. But, I didn't realize that, Jew hatred was so foundational to Islam.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it 100% is. That's the whole core of this issue. That's the whole thing. Like, it's not about Palestinians. It's never been about Palestinians. All of these people screaming free Palestine, they could give zero shits about Palestinians. When Palestinians were screaming and dying in the streets because they had protests against Hamas, it was called the We Want to Live protests, just to let you know how, like, that's all that we're just asking to be able to live. We just want to be able to breathe. Those protests, they had like 3 or 4 of those protests. People were being imprisoned and tortured. Nobody spoke about them. You care so much about Palestine, but when the Palestinians are calling out for your help, you're just ignoring them. They're not interested in helping Palestinians. They don't care about Palestinians. What they care about is hating Jews. And what they care about is however they can use Palestinians as a bludgeon against Jews, that's how they're going to do it. It would be in Palestinians' best interest for them to accept the fact that the state of Israel exists and it's not going anywhere. This river to the sea dream of yours is not happening. Just move on with reality, right? Yeah. But we keep on like placating them, and now they're being actually like even being celebrated. The violent people who have made absolutely clear that this is just about killing Jewish people. Like, they couldn't possibly have made that more clear. Mm-hmm. They kidnapped babies, they raped women, they murdered like everybody. It didn't even matter. Arabs, Muslims that were working in Israel were even being murdered and killed. Americans, Thai people, Brazilian people, Canadian people, they were being abducted. They were being killed. It didn't matter. They don't care. And this is the thing too, because a lot of people like to think that this is just a land issue. I'm like, have you forgotten 9/11? Like, have you forgotten Charlie Hebdo? Have you forgotten Samuel Paty? Have you forgotten like all of these different, the Pulse nightclub shooting? Like, how have you forgotten ISIS? Like, how do you think that this is just a land dispute issue? Do you think that for 80 years they couldn't figure out land disputes?
This isn't just about colonialism. Like,
no,
this isn't about somebody stealing your land and you wanting your land back. That's not what this is about.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is about them wanting this. It's in their charter. In their charter, they talk about how they want to eradicate Jews from the earth. Yeah. And what's important to remember is it only starts with Jews. It's only because they are the ones in close proximity. Mm. Like, don't get it twisted. Don't forget. You're next. Like, they hate all non-Muslims. You're next in line. They'll get to you, right? Just they're trying to deal with this now because they're getting accolades for it. They're getting supported. They're getting financial support to do this.
All the money that's being sent to Hamas by these people raising money for Palestinians. Yep. Like, where do they think this money is going?
Yeah. And the UNRWA. That's UN money coming from like all of the UN states, right? Like, that's our taxpayer money that's going in to indoctrinate children to become violent jihadists. It's such a mess. And what we need to be doing is supporting the voices of the pragmatic and peaceful Palestinians. They exist. They especially exist now more than ever because they can speak up more because Hamas has been defanged to a certain extent. so you can hear their voices even more and more. I just read in the National Post, there was a group of them that were speaking in the House of Commons, and they were asking that this money that Canada sends to fund UNRWA, if they could send it to them instead, because they are going to have like peaceful enclaves. They want to start up, you know, like a new Gaza that is in complete support of their neighbors and complete support of peace and prosperity for both groups of people. That's all we've ever wanted, right? But like we've come, as long as we keep on feeding the delusion that they could one day have their land back from the river to the sea and Israel will be eradicated. This is how they're still talking. They're talking like that today, as if this is a reality that could be. And even anti-Zionist Jews are saying this to me too. They're like, oh, it's just time for Israel to pack up. That's it. Time's over. Like there's 57 Muslim majority countries. There's one Jewish state. Don't tell me you have a problem with ethno-states, because I don't hear you saying anything about those 57 countries, right? Like it's not that. It's you have a problem with Jews having a place to run when you try to kill them. That's the problem.
Yeah.